guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I have a special guest with me. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Amari, her nephew.
How old are you?
16.
Where are you from?
Georgia.
Move your arm. Sit up straight. Okay, try that one more time.
Hi, I'm Amari, her nephew.
Who is?
16.
And where are you from?
Georgia.
What part of Georgia?
Gwinnett County.
Okay, so he's from the suburbs, you guys. And I wanted to ask, like, a black kid from the suburbs how they felt in reference to a lot of the news reports about how black people are getting unfairly treated by the police. And I wanted to know from your standpoint how you felt about that and how you kind of navigate the suburbs as a black kid. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, well, what would you say the demographics, the ethnic demographics? Wait, what word am I looking for? What would you say the demographics of your school would be?
So like how diverse?
Yeah, there you go. What is the diversity of your high school?
It's pretty diverse. It's predominantly Black, white, Hispanic, with small groups of like Asian and Indian kids, and then it's like predominantly Black and white.
Okay, cool. So when there's like a police shooting or anything that's in the media that has to do with like a black person being unfairly treated by the police, how does that then trickle down to your suburban high school? What do the kids say about that?
Well, at school, we don't really talk about that. It's not really spoken about as much unless like during lunch when like all like black kids sit together, then we talk about it. And normally it's kind of scary because then you're like, if I even walk to the gas station, I can't have a hoodie on, or like I can't have my hood up, or I can't walk a certain way because then if like police come by, you look suspicious just because you're black with the hoodie on. I really don't wear hoodies anymore because of that. Like after what happened, like Trayvon Martin, like all the other stuff, like I stopped wearing hoodies in like my neighborhood. If I wore a hoodie, I made sure it like was like a school hoodie, so like, people would be like, "Oh, he's like just a high schooler. Don't shoot him." But like, and like at school, it just doesn't really
resonate.
No, it really doesn't.
So how do you feel personally, knowing that you, a black kid, could be anywhere, and then somebody could say like, just be scared of your presence? How does that make you feel?
Sometimes it's really hard or it's scary because then I'm like, I can't go certain places or do certain things at certain times because it's like, if I do, I have to walk this way. I can't talk to people. I have to just make sure I get where I'm going really quickly. Don't look threatening. If you're like talking to people, don't talk a certain way. Make sure you enunciate your words, sound really proper. And like sometimes it's like a lot to deal with. It can get a little bit like too much because then it's just like I'm literally just trying to get anywhere, and it's like someone can just be like,
I'm scared of him.
Yeah, or it's like anything can happen, and then it's like they're looking for a black man, and then you happen to be a suspect just because you're brown, and then they don't even look at the specifics. Like it could be a black man with dreads, but all they read is black man, and then there you are, and they're like, oh, well, he's black. Maybe he's the suspect. Maybe he's the culprit. And then half the time, it's like sometimes you feel like they really don't care. They're just trying to catch any guy just so they can get off the case or get off whatever. But it's also scary because you can do everything you're supposed to do correctly, like, you know, show your identification, don't talk back, don't resist, and you can still end up getting shot.
Do you think the media helps with how they portray black men? And by that, I mean, like, do you feel as if the media shows a wide range of black people, or is it just, or do you feel like it's only like just one specific group?
I definitely don't think it helps. I think a lot of time it's definitely like that stereotype that's always there. It's like always just like you're either really ghetto, really flamboyant, or like if you are one of those like people who grew up in the suburbs or like really like privileged, then you're just really arrogant, stuck up, and full of yourself. And I'm like, that's not how it actually is, because it's, you know, because like I grew up lot more privileged than other people, but I'm not like oblivious to the fact that I'm very privileged. But then it's like it always portrays like the kids that are privileged, like the black kids that are privileged, they always show them as being like arrogant or self-absorbed or basically like looking down on people who grew up a certain way.
Right.
And I mean, I'm like, that's not always the case, especially like with me, because then I have like two sides of the coin, where it's like I have a very privileged side of the family, and then I have the other side of like my family that's like really poor and like lived in that stereotypical life. And I'm like, I'm not ungodly proper, but
right.
And I'm like that kid where it's like I can speak proper sentences, and I was lucky that I grew up that way to speak proper sentences. And so you don't hear a lot about that, where it's like the kids who, you know, they grow up privileged, but they don't grow up oblivious to everything
right.
around them. You always hear they either grow up really privileged or they grow up really poor, and they turn to the streets, and
there's really no in between.
Yeah.
What would you like to see differently as far as how black people are portrayed? What would you like to see differently in the media as far as how black people are portrayed?
I definitely would like to see a little bit, like, not as much as, like, if in certain movies there always has to be, like, the ghetto black guy that's, like, always really ghetto, really macho, and really, like, annoying.
Yeah.
Where they're always just, like, so, like, headstrong and, like, closed-minded and, like, really, like, ugh. But then it's also, like, with those movies where it's, like, the perfect guy, whenever you have like the black male character, they're normally really crazy, controlling, and ugh. So it's like you never really get the in between, where it's like maybe he's just a really nice guy who speaks proper English and isn't really
a douchebag.
Yeah.
Do you understand what's going on with politics?
I try really hard not to look at politics because it's just such a sore topic, and it just consumes everything. That, and like, especially at my age, people normally take their parents' views rather than their own views with everything, so I really just try to stay out of it. But I do like look at it occasionally just so I know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But I try not to focus on it because it just brings too much stress.
It does bring a lot of stress, and the reason why I asked is because, like, do you know what's happening with like climate change and how they're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The reason why I ask is because I feel like nobody talks to your generation about what you will eventually have to take on as adults with climate change. And with that, do you feel a sense of loss, or do you feel...
I feel like a lot of times people, like the older generation, don't talk to my generation because a lot of people in my generation are really immature.
Mm-hmm. Well, understandably.
It's like a lack of maturity, and like, especially like in my age, my high school, there's like a lot of people who still act like we're still in middle school or elementary school, like we can do things and it won't affect us. But we're like, because I'm like 2 years away from being graduating, and then it's like anything can happen. If you do anything bad, you can be tried as an adult, and then, like you can like ruin your life. And it's like you have to learn that it's time to grow up, mature, and like learn everything. But I feel like a lot of people in my generation don't take that standpoint. They're still like, well, I'm not 18 yet, so I can still be a kid and still do all this and still do that. And I'm like, sure, in some ways, yeah, but in other ways, you have to really like
focus and
you have to know that you're about to be an adult, and you have to learn to function as an adult.
And oftentimes the mistakes you make now can, especially with social media, are you very conscious on knowing that if you post something now on social media, it can come back in 20 years?
I try not to post anything that would ruin any career I wanted to have,
or college prospects.
That too, which I can't say the same for some of my friends, but I mean, I'm not you, so it's okay.
Yeah. Okay, so going back to being black in the suburbs. Okay, so did you hear about the story where the kid got lost and he went to the door
and the guy shot him?
shot at him.
Yeah.
When you are, like, how does that make you feel knowing that you might not be able to get help? Like, if you needed help, you might not be able to get it because you're a black kid.
I do remember a time when my fingers got stuck in the garage door because I was trying to lift it without touching any spiders. 'Cause I have like arachnophobia. And I was screaming for help, and nobody helped me. I saw people look out the window, and I was like bloody, like murder screaming, like, help, help! And nobody came and helped me. And I saw my neighbor across the street like look out the window, and was like, and like close the door. So I mean, it's kind of unsettling how people could just be like, they're black, they'll get over it, and like not help because once again the stigma, black people are supposed to be strong and don't need help from anybody else, and it's like it gets to a point where it's like, well, I mean, some help would be like needed sometimes.
I'm a human too.
Yeah, I'm like, I have feelings. I'm just like, which I think is something that's really uncommon with black men, is that lack of showing emotion and feelings because it's perceived as weak or not like
macho.
Yeah. And it's like, but then it's said that if you are strong enough to show your emotion and still prosper, you're strong. And people who don't show emotion because they think that they're being strong, you're just being, for lack of a better word, you're just being really stupid.
Yeah, I agree.
Very stupid.
How do cops make you nervous?
Sometimes cops make me really nervous when I see more than one, and then they're just really looking at me for no reason. Especially like at the mall. I'll be like walking in the mall of Georgia, and then I'll see like the mall cops, and they'll just be looking at you like, are you stealing? Did you really go out of H&M and buy anything? You don't have any bags. Do I check your pockets? And I'll just be like, maybe they just didn't like anything in there.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't have the cardigan I wanted, because I wear cardigans. I mean, it's like cardigans are nice. Or maybe I really just was not that interested and was dodging the random person I see at school. But I mean, you'll never get to that conclusion because it's normally the person they see is black. Next one, man. Next one, cut hair. And then afterwards, you're like put in that bubble, and you're like,
you just wanted to buy a cardigan.
What am I supposed to do? I just wanted a cardigan. They didn't have a white one, so I didn't get one. And I walked out of the store.
Have you ever been racially profiled by the police?
No, mostly because when they get to that point where they're like trying to approach you, they hear your voice, and then they're like, oh, never mind. And then I'm just like, I mean, luckily I sound really like...
Yeah. Well spoken.
Yeah. I sound like this.
Going to colleges, what colleges are you looking at?
Stanford, UCLA, Cal Berkeley, and Georgia Tech. But Georgia Tech's like
on the lower end. Okay. Yeah. Going to those schools, going into a new area as a black person, what goes through your head?
So I have this problem where I have like RBF really badly. So
me too.
I just have like,
it's hereditary.
I just have our family just has a really angry face. What? But so I'm just like, so I have to be really aware of that because sometimes I can be really intimidating to people. Weirdly. So I have to be conscious of like how I look to other people. Then I have to be really conscious of like what areas I go to, whether or not I go alone or if I go with other people, or if I do go alone. Don't wear any hats. Don't wear certain colors. Don't cross the street in certain places. I just have to be really careful and conscientious. But then I feel like in certain areas, like here in Cali, like there's some areas where I don't have to worry about that because I'll just be like, whatever. They saw another person across the street. They look like me. Doesn't matter. But then the other areas, not going alone. Yeah. Even if I do look like this, I'm not going alone.
Yeah, and that sucks because like you should feel free to go wherever you want. Yes. You should feel free to wear whatever you want. For myself, when I moved here, there's a lot of things that just will happen if you're black. Mm-hmm. Like you just have to assume that the cops are going to show up if you've moved to a new area. You just have to assume that people are going to stare at you and grab their purses as you're walking by. You know, and you just have to assume, like, someone's gonna call the cops. Shit, it's tough because you can't tell someone not to be scared. Like, oh, don't be scared, do whatever.
It's just like, I'm fine, I'm just trying to get to my door. No, you're not. You don't live here. You don't live here.
Yeah, just the entitlement of, like, just random people. Like, excuse me, I've never seen you before. Like, I've never seen you.
I've never seen you either, Bob.
You know,
I don't
like,
know who you are.
Yeah.
I don't just look for you. Normally I look at my phone because I don't like eye contact with
I don't
people.
like eye contact.
It's just like when we went to Runyon Canyon yesterday, I got stared at randomly. She stared at me, she was like...
Yeah, but I think she liked you, though. Because if they smile... Okay, so when people are scared of you, you'll see it in their eyebrows. Because that's like, who is that?
Oh my god.
What are they doing? If they want to meet you, then they'll usually have a smile on their face. That's what I've learned thus far.
I don't smile at people.
Would you say your white friends, their parents treat you different?
No.
No?
No. But then, once again, I'm very different from the stereotypical black person, or black guy. Because, like, normally, what you see on TV is, like, the no manners, the fist bumping rather than shaking the hand, no eye contact, really weird, sagging, hats. It's just, like, really different. Me, I've always been the type of person where I'll shake the mom's hand and I'll shake the father's hand. Normally, most black guys don't shake the father's hand. I'll shake the father's hand. I'll look them in the eye and I'll introduce myself. I'll make sure I make a clear sentence. And then I smile.
Say please and thank you.
That too. Normally there's an awkward silence, and then after you like come around like the third or fourth time, they're like, okay, well he's here to stay. So then they like warm themselves up to you. But then other times you do other times I have gotten the where it looks like and then you're like,
oh my god, she brought a black guy to the house. Woo!
It'll be like really weird. But I normally like it's kind of like shaped how I like date. I mean, I don't date much anymore. But like if I date someone who's like happens to be white, I have to make sure I have to know your political background. I have to know where you're from. I have to know what you like. I have to know what your parents are like. And then when I meet your parents, I have to make sure I'm wearing a really nice outfit. And then they have to get used to me before I wear like the urban wear. And because then
before I turn black.
Yeah, before I start bringing my Timberlands around, I have to know what kind of people your parents are.
So would you say you dress for would you say you dress not to make people comfortable and not to fit in, but to, I guess it would be making people comfortable?
Oh, no. I wear what I want to wear when I'm going to wear, and if you have a problem with it, I want you to say it to me, not behind my back. That's just the type of person I am. At school, I will wear what I want to wear, when I want to wear, how I'm going to wear it. If you have a problem with it, you can say it. I'm not going to change it, but you can say it. I like it to be known, but other than that, I wear what I want to.
What's the, do you have a lot of black teachers? Are there a lot of black teachers in your school?
No.
Are there any black teachers?
Yes.
Do you have a lot of white teachers?
Yes.
Do you feel like your white teachers treat you differently or speak to you differently?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Definitely, yeah.
In what way?
There's a lot of condescending. Sometimes they treat you like you're stupid. Or they're always just watching you, like, to see if you're gonna, like, act out. And normally when, like, something happens, they normally, like, well, not with me, but, like, with other black people that I know at my school, they're normally the first people that they assume did it, or they'll like get onto them first. Me, I've always been like the likable student that the teachers will let do anything, or like they won't assume did it. And like there's like one time where I got in trouble last year and my teacher literally apologized to me for disciplining me.
Was it the, I'm sorry I have to do this, I don't want to?
No, he gave me like a heartfelt apology and said, I'm really sorry that I did that to you. And I was like, oh, that's fine. But
don't do it again. Would you say your generation, because I feel like your generation
is disrespectful?
Well, I feel like your generation is used to the internet and social media and speaking to anybody any way they want to. So when it translates to a face-to-face conversation, there's the, well, this is how I talk anyways.
I actually don't get a lot of that. I get they talk a certain way on the internet. Like, they talk, like, for instance, there's always the fake, like, ghetto kids at my school, and so they'll talk all the, like, hood speech on the internet, but then the second it translates to when they say, I'll step to anybody, or I'll cuss out anybody, I don't care who you are, and they get to a teacher, then they'll be like, yes, sir, I'm sorry, sir. I'm so sorry. Or you get those kids who still say all
that.
Yeah, and
they genuinely just don't care.
And I'm looking at you, and I'm just like, you have a 35 minute darts. What are you doing with your? I'm like, what are you doing with your life? I'm like, but then I'll catch myself being like, sometimes there's like, for them, that's the only thing that can get them anywhere, because in like, high school's not for everybody. Even though they send everybody to high school, it's not for everybody. And I understand that, because sometimes I look at high school and I'm like, why am I here? Because I'll be like, half the stuff I'm not going to need, and I already know, but I'm still here. But then it's just the fact that you have to force yourself to socialize with other people to learn how to deal with situations in real life, and then learn certain things so you can overcome them when you become an adult. And sometimes you succeed, other times you fail. Sometimes you fail really hard, and you got to get over it. Yeah,
I mean, failure is a part of life, you know, and failure is just another way of saying that way didn't work. So you tried a different way. What do you want to be when you grow up?
It's a very difficult question, because I want to be like an entrepreneur, but I want like a set focus. Like, I really want to go into architecture, which is why I want to go to Stanford, UCLA, Berkeley, maybe Georgia Tech. But then I also like want to still pursue soccer like professionally, but then I also still want to do like the whole modeling, acting, singing, and like the fashion stuff, all that too. So I mean, it's just, I gotta like plan it out with my calendar and do all that stuff.
Gotta make sure you got those dates.
It's just gotta make sure I get it all planned out, because I like to be prepared.
You should be prepared.
I like to be prepared with everything, because if I'm not prepared, then I don't know what I'm doing.
But you know, you also don't have to. It's nice that you have like this basket of things that you know you want to do, but just know that you might get poked in your eye and your vision might be off just a little bit, and you can't be an architect.
I'll sit there and I'll keep my foot down. I am stubborn as a mule.
Yeah, that's runs in our family as well.
Yeah.
You're going into your senior year, right?
Junior
year. Okay. Do you have any fears as you're getting closer to graduating?
The feeling of I just want to get this over with, or I'm like, I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
That's the number one thing.
So maybe we should write that down as one of the things we should work on for the future.
Social skills.
Social skills, man, I'm so bad.
That doesn't run in our family.
We are not good at that.
No, we're the fake people.
We're not fake. I feel like we are very true to our emotions, because a fake person is gonna come up to you and be like, oh, it's so good to see. Do you have any questions for me? Ask an old person.
You're not that old.
I'm not that old.
What's it like being an adult?
It's okay. So it's pretty awesome, but it also sucks because you are an adult and you can't really do dumb shit. Not that I would do dumb shit, but like there's just like more, obviously you have more responsibilities because you have to pay your bills on time. You have bills, and then you have rent, and then you have to feed yourself. And so all those times where growing up you're just like, you know, I don't really want to, I'm not going to pay this bill. There's always somebody else that can do something for you, like your parents.
Yeah.
You know, but when you're an adult, you have to, you just have to be really responsible. One thing I would say is like, I wish that as a kid your age, I paid more attention to what I wanted to do after high school, because I knew I wanted to be an actor, but I just didn't know how to do it. So I just kind of accidentally got into it, and I accidentally got here. Everything, I mean, it was a reason, but like I accidentally kind of started doing things, and I accidentally found the right people. Other than that, being an adult is great. You get to do whatever you want to. Well, not whatever you want to, because you have consequences. I mean, if you're not like a risky person and you're not somebody who does dumb shit, being an adult is awesome because you can do whatever you want to. You can go to bed whenever you want to. You can have ice cream for breakfast, cake for breakfast.
Ice cream is gross.
You can have ice cream for breakfast, cake for breakfast. The friends you make turn into your family. You know, like when you move away from your family, like the friends you make turn into your family. That's why it's important to
have friends.
Not just have friends, but have meaningful friends. It's better to quality over quantity when it comes to friends. Because again, some of your friends can get you
in trouble,
into a lot of trouble.
Or they can not be your friends and be fake and really just talk trash about you behind your back.
And they can ruin your life.
And your career.
So it's important to find friends that are like-minded and don't want to do risky shit and go to jail. Yeah, but being an adult is awesome.
No jail for us.
No jail for us. And if you end up in jail, that's okay too, because shit happens. It doesn't mean you're a horrible person. It just means that you got caught.
You made a mistake.
And you made a mistake.
And you know what? You can learn from the mistake.
Yes, and you can still go on to have a great quality life. Yeah. Any other questions?
No.
There will definitely be a part 2 because I enjoy talking to people his age and his age demographic. But thank you, Amari, for coming to visit me.
Of course.
This week. How was your Stanford soccer camp?
Oh, that was great. It was a good experience. It was long, tiring. I can't flex my legs. It was really hot. I got sunburn on my nose, but got a really good evaluation. Met some pretty great people and some really not so great people.
But that's life.
Yeah. Had fun. But I mean, it was good.
So you said, do you want to play or at least try out for the U.S. men's national team?
Mm-hmm.
After watching the women totally defeat the world, did that give you? How was that watching the women conquer all of that?
Well, I mean, I've always believed that women can be superior to men because I've just been around women my whole entire life.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's great because it shows, hey, if they can do it, we can do it too. And this time, it actually is the reverse of. It actually means if women can beat out entire countries, men should be able to do it too. Really, no excuse because it can happen. It has happened multiple times.
All right, Amari. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys on the next video. Oh, wait, hold on. Let's do that again. Okay. If you guys have any questions that you want me to ask this kid, leave a comment down below, and I will see you guys in the next video.